Hello, welcome back to the Superhero Show. Daniel and Chris here, and Deadpool. They're saying and doing a lot of funny things around the Deadpool movie. So, you know, they had to overcome a lot considering what they did with the character last time out. And we think like this campaign is kind of doing and saying a lot of the right things to prep a new audience, but also kind of win back people who are kind of disappointed with what they did last time.
Yeah, I don't know if you call it a viral campaign or the marketing campaign, or it's whatever they're doing. They're using social media really smartly, and they're keeping it all with the spirit of the character. I think it's been really interesting from day one. They've obviously thought about this and maybe have an overarching plan of how they'll just slowly but surely keep seeding stuff to get people in the mood for this film for early next year. And I don't know, it's been funny.
Yeah,
so it's making me laugh.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is going to go through kind of the 8 funniest things they've done as part of the Deadpool campaign. So the first one is the initial costume reveal. Now, there were leaked pictures of it, it looks really good, but then the picture that they released was via Ryan Reynolds' Twitter feed, and it was a picture of him like led down in a very sexy pose. And it's kind of a callback to a Burt Reynolds picture.
Yeah, I believe he tweeted the Burt Reynolds picture
shortly afterwards.
I'm a big fan of that Burt Reynolds picture anyway.
Oh, yeah.
It's very famous. It's a Playgirl centerfold, and it's the ultimate sort of image of manliness in the 1970s.
It's hairy.
It's hairy, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful, sexy image, and I think it really worked for Deadpool to gently kind of mock that.
I just love that that's the first time you see the it's not like some kind of picture in Entertainment Weekly, and also a lot of these picture people like speculate about the costume and go, oh, it's too blue or it's too purple, like with Apocalypse, or oh, that's awful, like Quicksilver. I think it's one that people just instantly fell in love with because it looks so faithful, which is probably conscious considering they were so unfaithful last time out with the character. But it's just a funny way to debut, you know, the costume.
Yeah, agreed. Do you want me to do one?
Yeah, you do the next one.
I didn't know we were going to do it that way. Deadpool beating up AC Slater.
Yeah.
It was the April Fool gag that they did. You could see it coming a mile off, but it's still funny seeing Saved by the Bell's most handsome character taking a beating, getting smashed with what is he?
Like a TV?
Something like that. But yeah, it's very funny. It's well set up, and it's just a funny little gag at the end. Yeah. With a drawing that he's done, and the drawings that he does is in the trailer. He's doing a drawing, and I've heard on the grapevine that drawing that he does there is actually going to be quite a big part of the film.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it might tie into the finale of the film.
Yeah, I thought this was really funny as well because it was April Fool, they were saying that the movie had been cut. It was going to be sanitized. It wasn't going to be an R rating, and then that came out, and it just kind of was like, no. You're getting what you wanted. He's going to be swearing. He's going to be beating up AC Slater with a appetizer. And
we've said it before, and we'll say it again. We're really the fact that it's an R-rated superhero movie is a big deal. It could change the way. It could change the superhero films we see going forward, and stuff we talk about on this show if this one works.
Yeah, hopefully. Next one is there was a lot of discussion early in the year when we knew Marvel kind of revamping their comic range, that were they intentionally killing off characters they didn't own the movie rights to. So Wolverine got killed, the X-Men, you know, stuff was happening with them, and Deadpool was another of the characters. Fantastic Four was ending, and Deadpool was another character they killed off. Now recently he's being launched again in the all new, all different range, so he's not dead, but for a good few months he was dead. And Ryan Reynolds tweeted a very funny picture where he was on set, Deadpool was on the toilet reading this, and it's just funny because again it's another, like the AC Slayer, it's tapping into that aspect of the character where he intrudes into reality. He's seeing and reading all the news that we're getting and passes comment on it, and hopefully that stuff finds its way into the movie as well.
Yeah, agreed.
I really like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. The next one I'm not really going to talk about. If you could just flash up Deadpool's Mother's Day tweet. Yeah. Enough said.
Good language. Yeah. And then I think the actual trailers themselves.
Yeah.
He mocked the idea, which has become, because we work closely on film a lot, is this new thing of having a trailer for a trailer.
Yeah.
It's happening more and more. It happened with Jurassic World.
It's super annoying.
It's like a 10-second clip, And it's like, trailer's coming tomorrow.
Yeah. And the filmmakers are almost embarrassed. Like, I saw Duncan Jones almost being embarrassed that there was a trailer for the Warcraft
You're just
trailer.
trying to get a double hit on the same asset.
It's just, that's the way
What
it works,
I liked about the Deadpool one, at least they made something original.
Yeah.
And it was Deadpool smoking a pipe in an armchair. Very similar kind of setting to the Burt Reynolds picture.
Yeah.
He's in a cosy fire, setting, gentleman's club. And he has his pipe, and then he tries to put the pipe in. And obviously he can't put a pipe in his mouth, so it falls to the floor.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, they played that at
I'd
Comic-Con.
rather that than 5 seconds of the trailer.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's like an old-fashioned teaser, more like. And then that led into the trailer, which I saw for the first time at Comic-Con, and in Hall H, people lost their minds over that trailer. They played it a second time. I mean, it's just a fun trailer. It's got some good beats in it. It's got a money shot at the end with the bullet going through 3 heads. It has me slightly worried that, and we've talked about it on this show before, that over 90 minutes, the character might become a little bit grating, and if the humour's all kind of schoolboy humour for 90 minutes, will you still be laughing at the end?
Yeah, I just hope that more of the humour, like some of that is, derived from him swearing, but hopefully more of it is from passing comment on the superhero genre. Like, there's that line at the beginning of the trailer where he's like, please don't make the suit green.
Or animated.
Hopefully there's a lot more humour derived from parody and self-referentialism and stuff like that.
And also, I think it will, that for the film to work, it's got to have like a heart and a soul. And I think you will see that in the early scenes with the cancer. And I think there's a lot more drama going on than the trailer sort of suggests.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun trailer, and it looks like it's going to be sufficiently different to the other superhero movies we've seen, and the fact that we're kind of getting a little bit tired of seeing the same. Then again, it might follow the same story beats that they all have this year and of late, but
when you were just talking about maybe there'd be more to the movie than him just swearing, because obviously he put that out because immediately that tells people, well, this is very different. Recently, Ryan Reynolds put on the costume, went out trick-or-treating in his neighbourhood, and he filmed like a skit with a bunch of kids dressed as X-Men. And in the comics, Deadpool is even though he's slightly deranged, he's always very protective of children. And I feel like that kind of comes across in that trailer, because he's mocking them, he's making fun of them, but he's also being really nice to them as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really sweet little thing to put out. And also, I love the fact they're all dressed as X-Men, and he's just like mocking them all. Like their powers, how they look. I think it's a really sweet little thing to put out.
And could that transfer into a movie one day with him just mocking all the X-Men?
I'd love that.
Yeah, no, it's funny. And who doesn't like seeing a grown man say horrible swear words in front of children?
Me.
I love it. And carrying on the humour front, he's very recently done an impression of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, mocking another X-Men in real life.
Which Jackman liked enough to retweet himself. But it feels like they're all having fun with it, and that's what I'm excited about a little bit. They look like they're having fun making the movie. They're having fun, marketing it now and promoting it. We've had some ideas that we've put to the studio, some fun stuff we could do with Ryan if we can get him in the office on this settee. And if that can translate onto the screen, it could be a really great thing.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
And the last thing I'll say is what I've liked about this campaign is the same thing I've liked about the Star Wars campaign, in that it feels like it's staying true to the spirit of the source material and true to what we love about those characters and these characters. So
that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Right,
Definitely.
Let's get on to this week's feedback. I think you've got the first bit.
What's your scariest superhero movie moment?
You put me on the spot there.
Yeah, massively. But
you read that and I'll think.
Sure.
But I'll also listen.
No, don't listen. Just
okay, I won't.
This is from Darren Buka, who says, I think the Batman Begins scene is a great choice. That was the choice we had last week with the Scarecrow and his gas. For scariest superhero movie moments, and I have a theory of what the Batman tar face is meant to represent. Many have speculated what Scarecrow's fear is during his hallucinations. My theory is Batman's face becomes not just a monster, but a demon. Scarecrow sees the head of a demon, which, as we all know, is the translation of Ra's al Ghul. Scarecrow fears the almighty Ra's, and that's what becomes a Batman's grungy cowl. I think that's
it's a good theory.
It's a great theory.
Tim Newton-Howell has written in, and he suggested 3 moments you missed out. And this one, a few people wrote in and suggested this one. I think it stayed with quite a few people. Is Penguin's death in Batman Returns, when the toxic waste and slime makes regular old Oswald Cobblepot look like Miss Universe. That scene used to scare the crap out of me, and it still gives me the creeps for how gross it is.
Yeah, it's a gross scene. There's a lot of creepy stuff with Penguin in that film.
Oh yeah, it's kind of sleazy and horrible.
Some of it for me was it was when I saw the moment that it became the scariest, because it was when I was a kid. I was a little bit older when I saw Batman Returns. It didn't frighten me as much. It was creepy, but it didn't frighten me. But I think some of these, I was just at quite a formative age for Batman and Superman 3, that they messed me up.
Those are the moments that stay with you. When we first meet Violator in Spawn, and then finally the finale between Hulk and Absorbing Man in the Ang Lee movie. He talks about the body transformation being quite horrifying and painful.
Yeah, there's body horror there. Trouble is Nick Nolte's performance.
That's such a weird ending as well. That's such a strange ending that happens in that forest and that lake.
So weird.
Honourable mention, Ghost Rider 2, just the whole movie, horrifying.
Oh, nice.
Burn, sick burn.
Yeah, don't read the IGN review then. We loved it. I have a story about watching that film, but I have to say it to you off camera. It's bad.
Okay.
So what's your scariest superhero movie moment? Keep coming back to it.
The only one that I can think of is, I think it's...
we didn't think for long, so why should you?
Do you want to know how I get these scars? It's horrible. It's putting a knife in someone's face. It's really horrible and twisted.
That was the thing, actually. We were sitting, Gav and I, talking about the Joker. There's so many bits you could pick.
Yeah.
And any one of them I would have been happy with. It's two frightening incarnations.
Again, also some of the psychological one in the interrogation scene when he's beating him, and he just looks at him and goes, "There's just nothing you can do." He says, "For all of your strength, for all of your might, there's nothing you can do." So it's just helpless.
Be interesting if Jared Leto has any of these great moments.
Possibly.
We'll see. Moving on.
Yeah.
This is an email from Robert Lee. You haven't highlighted the name. You always have to highlight the name.
Sorry.
Just future reference. He says, I want to ask what are your thoughts of Tilda Swinton being cast as the Ancient One in Doctor Strange, and whether changing a character's gender matters to suit the modern storytelling standards that the MCU has today. I myself love the idea of Tilda playing the Ancient One, as I can see her bringing the weird and wonderful world of Doctor Strange to life, as well as the horror aspect that MCU fans have been clamouring for into the modern world of the MCU. Thoughts, Daniel?
I don't think gender swapping matters unless gender is integral to the original character itself. So, Wonder Woman or something like that. There's no point, obviously that's an essential component to that character. Otherwise, I think it's interesting, and they do it quite a lot in the comics recently, with gender, but with also race. We've got a female Thor now. Dr. Jane Foster is Thor in the comic books. Miles Morales is Spider-Man, different ethnicity. And Dan Slott makes that point. He goes, race isn't integral to the character of Spider-Man. Yes, Peter Parker is white, but Spider-Man could be anyone. That's that's why Spider-Man is intriguing. That's why lots of people like
Spider
Spider-Man.
can bite anyone.
There you go. So I think that's, for those kind of roles, I think cast whoever is interesting.
If it works best for the story and if it's the right person. And Tilda Swinton's an interesting actor anyway, because she's played on her androgyny all the way through her career, to the point that she played someone that changed gender in Orlando. And so, I think she's just a really interesting actor.
I also think he adds to the role, this Ancient One. What is so ancient that the concept of gender is irrelevant. That's a very kind of biological thing. This is someone who's above all that.
Yeah,
I think that's cool casting. All right, Amon has written in. Now, I'm not going to unpack all of this. I don't know if you've read it online. Have you seen this crazy theory that Ben Affleck's Batman isn't Bruce Wayne?
Yes.
And he's actually Deathstroke, and that this is still the Nolan universe. And Amon says, I'm unsure if this is a good idea, and I don't even know if it's true. I cannot believe this is true. I think it's an ingenious way of putting together all the facts. But always with these things, surely the simplest explanation is the one that's most likely to be correct.
Yeah.
That he is just Bruce Wayne.
I think I started reading one of these theories and I just get bored about
really
paragraph and and it's like, I don't really care. It's probably not true.
It does really well online within communities who really love this sort of stuff, who love analysing movie trailers, like we do on site. But imagine how that would play to a mainstream audience. What? You just sit down and be like, imagine trying to unpack that in the form of a dramatic film, which already has a lot going on in it. So I don't think it's true.
Big no, big fat no. Final email from Justin Hymus. Again, not...
You found it though. You found it.
he's got some feedback on the last 2 shows as to who should play Iron Fist. He really thinks Aaron Paul would portray an awesome Danny Rand.
Yeah, Aaron Paul came very close to the list and then got scratched at the last minute by Gav.
What's happening with Aaron Paul's career since Breaking Bad?
I don't know. Well, Need for Speed was great.
I saw it. They're doing a sequel though. It made a lot of money in
Is it actually...
It made a lot of money in the Far East.
There's actually a sequel?
They're going to do it, yeah. It made a lot of money.
Wow,
just not
I didn't
in America
know that
or
at all.
England. No.
I just remember the very odd ending with Michael Keaton, where it looked like Michael Keaton...
Spoiler.
Michael Keaton's bit has been filmed entirely in isolation and just edited into the movie.
Yeah, they had him for a day.
I feel like that was never part of the original movie.
But we had a chat. In fact, I was just doodling. I was doodling in a meeting because I was bored, as I always am in meetings, and I wrote down the hashtag Fist Dan Stevens. So when I was away, you guys said you thought Dan Stevens should play Iron Fist.
We suggested a bunch of people, but we were kind of unanimous that we think Dan Stevens should get the role.
We like Dan Stevens. So we thought we might try and get a campaign going to get Dan Stevens cast as Iron Fist in a Netflix series. And so if you want to get on board with this, we're going to use the hashtag Fist Dan Stevens.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, it was a serious campaign that we really want to get everyone behind and put that out into the world.
Yeah.
We'll put it up on screen just to remind you of what the hashtag is.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can get the ball rolling and see if the superhero show can make change, can make a difference.
Yeah.
And can get the man we want cast.
Yeah. So until next week, remember Fist Dan Stevens.